Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Jasleen Kaur and I'm a trans creator on the Granth Sahib project. We're excited to announce the last release of Sheikh Farid Ji's Saloks, so this time Saloks 93 through 130. As you might remember, Sheikh Farid, also known as Baba Farid Ji, is a 12th to 13th century Punjabi Sufi poet and Sheikh, which is this title that gives him authority and legitimacy both in society and in his particular religious community. So he's a Muslim, he's a Sufi, and he's speaking from that position of status, reflecting on his spiritual journey and his relationship with IkOankar, with the One, also offering us some encouragement in reflecting on our own journeys. And so as we kind of close out this series of releases, I wanted to talk about the last two Saloks. So Saloks 129 and 130, because they're very interesting to me and I've been thinking about them a lot. I think because of the deep sort of simplicity of them and what I think Sheikh Farid Ji might be trying to tell us through that simplicity, which, like, don't get me wrong, every sort of Salok has that kind of candidness or that bluntness that he's known for. But these two Saloks in particular were very interesting to me. So in Salok 129, Sheikh Farid Ji says, "Ik fikka na galai, sabna mein sacha dhani, hiao na kahi tha hai, manak sab amolve." So he says, do not utter a single tasteless word. The true owner or master, IkOankar, is in all. Do not break anyone's heart. All are precious rubies. So I was struck by the directness of this stanza even more than I think any of the rest of them. And I thought it was interesting that these are the Saloks that are placed towards the end by Guru Arjan Sahib in the sort of compilation of the Adi Granth. But we begin with this return to simplicity as we sort of come to the end of the series. And I've been thinking about it a lot because it's like we're humans in the world. We're subject to all kinds of tendencies that come with that experience of being human. We can kind of lean into the most negative parts of ourselves and speak tastelessly and speak without sweetness and backbite and gossip and sort of lean into harshness and cruelty or anger and impatience because it feels nice or it feels easier or even like righteous in a moment. And so these are the tendencies that we have that are harder to shake because they require us to maybe do the more difficult work of like contextualizing people and like reacting not in the first way that we think to react, but to actually respond with thoughtfulness. And Sheikh Farid Ji is saying, like, the reason that we sort of act in these cruel or harsh ways is because we don't see that presence of IkOankar in all people, in all of creation, and we do not work to recognize that presence of IkOankar, the owner in every heart. Because if we did, we wouldn't be so quick to speak tastelessly or with cruelty. And so I've been thinking a lot, just in terms of that second to last look, about reflecting on my words, on how they land. Am I being thoughtful in how I speak? And when I'm not, what are the like repercussions? What are the ripple effects of that? And what are the ways in which I can cause my own harshness to dissipate? And that like simple directive of do not break anyone's heart. It's really hard to do. And I think that we've all maybe had experiences of hurting people without intending to, and also hurting people very much intending to maybe. But this imagery of like every being as jewel-like or as like ruby-like, as precious, is really important. And I wonder about how to sort of continue to remind myself of that and become more tender and sort of sweet with how I speak as a result. And then what's really interesting is that in the very last Salok, that idea actually continues. And so Sheikh Farid Ji says, the minds of all are rubies. Breaking them is not good at all. If for you there is a yearning for the beloved, do not break the heart of anyone. So even that message gets sort of hammered home a second time in case we like didn't fully get it the first time. So that imagery continues of like the ruby-like hearts and minds. And there's a slight variation of do not break the heart of anyone. I've been thinking a lot about like preciousness, how we think of the body as precious. We spend our lives trying to like maintain physical health, trying to protect it, trying to keep it from showing signs of aging or deterioration with time. And we can see when the body is hurt, we can feel it really tangibly, and we can see what it looks like when it sort of heals. But we don't think of the minds or the hearts as precious in the same way, and we don't think of hurting those things as similarly painful because it's not as visible. So he's reminding us of the preciousness of these internal things, of these like rubies within the body, because within those things, within the heart and mind, is the presence of the beloved IkOankar. And if that was truly understood, then these hearts and minds are dwelling places of the beloved, then we would change our behavior. And I've been thinking about this, like when you ask kids what they would do if they were like president or if they were president for a day or something. The answers are usually pretty simple. It's usually like nobody would get hurt. Everybody would have enough to eat and a place to sleep, right? Like everybody would be nice to each other. There'd be no fighting. These kinds of like simple, sort of childlike ideals of what it would mean to live in a kind of utopian world, or a world that was kinder and more compassionate. And I think sort of indirectly what Sheikh Farid Ji is saying is that like if we truly have longing for and excitement for meeting the beloved, then our orientation in the world ought to transform in a pretty radical way. We ought to have love and devotion for everyone. And this is a global sort of like guidance, I think, that this is a lifestyle to try to nurture, a society to envision as like possible and then to pursue it. Because we know that kind of ideal intuitively when we're kids. And then we sort of lose it, or we think that it becomes like unrealistic or something. So instead of like overthinking or deciding who deserves our love and kindness and who doesn't, sort of doling out the nice version of ourselves to some and the more harsh version of ourselves to others, to truly live this kind of lifestyle would mean ending the dichotomies that we make between ourselves and others all the time, between good and bad, emotions and thought, and just the ways that we judge. To just sort of demolish all of those things and really see IkOankar in everyone. And I think if we did that, and I'm also talking about myself, like if I really did that, I would expand in that seeing, in that witnessing of presence, and in that connection, I would feel more vast. I would feel like I could hold more, and that would show in my behavior. And so my sort of takeaway here is Sheikh Farid Ji in this last salok is saying, let us become more gracious and compassionate and sweeter in every thought, word, and action, and that like we can build toward this reality. It's not something out of our reach. So with that, I would encourage you to spend time with this last release of the last set of saloks and really think about what this would look like for you, to speak more tenderly, to be sweeter and softer in the world, to not break anyone's heart. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Read the translations and commentaries at gurugranthsahib.io.
You are listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.